So it's important to kind of adapt these routines to your life and to your lifestyle, but still have some structure in your life so that when things do get fucked up, you still have a foundation to go on.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark.
Hey, what's up? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Hey Mark, the podcast where I and Mark get to have open and authentic conversations about things like mental health and self-development. The reason I started this podcast is because I wanted to kind of share my experiences, both positive and negative, sometimes funny and entertaining, and sometimes just, in my eyes, educational, or at the very least, I just want to give someone out there a new perspective, an outlook on life, and like I said, at the very least, make someone understand that no matter what they are going through, they're not alone, and life can and will get better. We just have to put in the work to get there. And so what I wanted to talk about today is something that, it's kind of been on my mind recently, and the reason why is because I've been wavering off of it here and there every now and then. And so what that is routines. I wanted to chat about having a routine and if that's an important thing to do, and should your routine be in the morning? Should that routine be in the evening? Should it be something that you have, your entire day planned out every single day of your entire life? Well, there's multiple answers to that. And so before we jump into talking about, when the best time for a routine is, let's kind of think about what a routine is. Does a routine mean that you have to have every single fucking minute, every single hour, every single, portion of your day planned out to a T every single day? Depending on who you ask, I say no, but some people would say yes. Some people do think that that's the best way to go about your day. And, they kind of have a point to some degree. But that being said, I think that removes a little bit of, I think it instills too much structure, and that's something that a lot of people are kind of going to laugh when you hear me say that. But I think it does, provide a little bit too much structure in your life. And the reason I say that is because, well, actually, you know what? Now that I say it, I wouldn't say that it kind of gives too much structure, but you have to be all right with varying from your routine, I suppose, because things in life aren't always going to work out the way that you plan them. And so it's good to have a routine, I suppose, in the sense that it's going to give you, a time frame of when you should get things done or what you should be doing on a daily basis. And I guess that kind of brings me into the next kind of topic, which is when you should have your routine. So I'm going to circle back to why it's important to have a routine and the whole structure thing in a little bit. But I think that it's important to kind of talk about, do you have to have your entire day planned out? Should you have a morning routine? Should you have an evening routine? And I think that the answer is yes. You should have a morning routine because when you get up out of bed, especially if you're like me, a lot of the times you kind of wake up and you're just kind of going with the flow. Sometimes you want to just, hit snooze and chill out and lay in bed. Sometimes you feel motivated and you want to get up and get going and you want to work out or do X, Y, and Z, whatever productive things that you kind of are thinking about in the moment. Having a routine can be simple. It doesn't have to take up hours of your morning like a lot of fucking gurus say it will. It can be very, very simple. For myself, my routine typically is first thing that I do when I wake up, I post a little good morning thing on my Instagram story. So if you're not following me on Instagram, if you're watching the YouTube version of this, it'll be down here. You can connect with me there. I'm actually going to be creating a small group and community based around mental health and self-development. So look me up. If you're listening to the podcast, it'll be in the show notes. But if you're on the YouTube version, it'll be down here. Connect with me and you can be a part of that community. But that's the first thing I do when I wake up is post a little good morning message on my Instagram story. I like to share the time that I wake up every single day just because it holds me more accountable to sticking to my routine. So that's kind of one of the methods I use. Right after I post that, typically what I do is I come and sit down literally right here. I sit my ass down and I pick up whatever book that I have on my desk and then I start reading it. I try and read about 10 pages every single day. And again, it just kind of keeps me disciplined to the idea that I have to sit down and read. It's not something that I enjoy to do. It's something that I find is beneficial for my life in multiple ways. And that's the point of having a routine, is sticking to the things that are beneficial for you so that you're not distracting yourself with shit that's just random in your life that you're kind of serving as a slave to, little things that can become addictive or things that can just become distractions. So having your routine is going to keep you focused to that. Again, one of the benefits for myself for reading, being someone that's clearly diagnosed with ADHD, it allows me to sit down, sit still, and focus on one thing, i.e. reading, and it kind of drills that muscle memory, so to say, into me that, I don't always have to be bouncing off the walls. Sometimes it's okay to just sit down and focus on one thing, which is something I have difficulty doing. And again, that's why it's important for me to include that in my routine. The next thing that I try and do in my day is I sit down and I do the boring shit that I hate doing. So editing, dealing with my finances, doing some online banking, answering emails. The morning time for myself is, it's a time for me to kind of not be distracted by all the notifications on my phone, by people around me, whatever it is. So again, having my morning routine allows me to have that time slot ready for getting, the shit that I don't want to do done. Having an evening routine is important as well because, being able to go to bed at night and actually rest is one of the things that's, paramount for both physical and mental health as well. A lot of the times we find ourselves just going in bed, fucking surfing through Instagram, going through YouTube, going through our phones. We go to bed and we just kind of lay there and like I said, we sit on our phones. This is one of the, worst things that we can do for our mental health, our physical health. It destroys the quality of our sleep. And it also tells us that, going to bed doesn't necessarily mean sleeping. It kind of tricks your brain that way. And so I try and have an evening routine where I get rid of my phone, a couple hours before my bedtime. And I'm not saying I get rid of it, but I just try and engage with it a lot less or use it for things that, I don't use it for things other than just basically my social media and working on my podcast. And so my evening routine is pretty loose, but recently I've been trying to button down on it. And because I find myself distracted at night, that's when I do kind of get on my phone. I start texting friends. I have my quote unquote downtime where I'm watching YouTube videos or searching, random shit on social media. And that's when I get stuck in these weird little rabbit holes. And then I'm losing sleep. And then by the time I get to sleep, the quality of it is destroyed. And so why does having a bedtime routine kind of alleviate that, right? Like having a little bit of time to kind of give yourself to wind down before bed. You're not doing things that pump up your adrenaline or get you excited or, give you some reason to be pissed off or anxious or upset. When you have an evening routine, you allow yourself to simmer down for the evening and actually relax. Maybe that's journaling, maybe that's reading, maybe that's just meditating, being reflective in some sort, reviewing your day and thinking about, if today was your last day, would you be proud of your actions, your behaviors, whatever things you did that day, the conversations that you had, the things that you said to people? Would you be proud of that? Would you be all right with that being your last day if it were to be? I made a post like that recently on my Instagram, and a couple people were, they were commenting on it saying things like, if it were your last day, you just have to accept it. And there is truth behind that, and that is why I'm coming back to why these routines are important, and I want to underline this fact right here. Life is never going to be the way that we plan it out to be. So if you look at the last couple of years, it's a perfect example that life is always going to throw curveballs at us. You could have your routines and your day completely scheduled out, every 10 to 15 minutes to the hour, to the minute, etc. But life is always going to throw curveballs at you. And so having a routine is important because A, It allows you to be adaptive when those curveballs do come. When you have a structure that you have to stick to and you know what you have to get done, no matter what curveballs are thrown your way, you can still stay on task and understand that, hey, maybe I lost an hour because I had to spend it doing X, Y, and Z, whatever troubles life threw your way. But you know still that at the end of the day, you have your routine set out, you have your to-do list, your tasks set out, and you know that you have to get them done before you go to bed. This is also important because when you do go to bed, then you can look back at your routine and say, did I check off X, Y, and Z that I was supposed to do? And then you can either feel confident knowing that you can go to bed and rest well, that you did all the things that you needed to do, or it gives you a good indicator of where you're struggling, what you're struggling to actually commit to and focus on and actually execute on. It's no wonder why so many people go to bed, including myself, every single night, and we're laying there thinking about, fuck, maybe I should have done this today. Maybe I should have done that today. Or why did I even fucking do this today? I was being completely reactive to my surroundings. Having a routine prevents us from feeling like that. And if you're wanting to start a routine, it's very simple. Grab a fucking book and think about the things that you need to do to improve your life and start planning out how you can start to do them. Think about the most convenient times to do the things that you need to do. There's a reason that I've put reading and replying to emails and all of these things that I do in the morning. It's because I don't have a ton of physical energy in the morning, first thing. Sometimes that's the time for me to just kind of sit down and focus on something like reading a book or replying to emails. And then later on in my day, after I've moved around at work and I've started to have that adrenaline and the endorphins flow, then I'll have the energy to exercise and move around and do the other things. I've moved my routines around a lot in the last couple of years, and I think that that's an important aspect of routines as well. If you find that your routine is not working for you, that doesn't mean that routines don't work. It means your current routine doesn't work. And so it's important to kind of adapt these routines to your life and to your lifestyle, but still have some structure in your life so that when things do get fucked up, you still have a foundation to go on. I want to hear about your routines. So if you have a routine, if you have something that you find to be beneficial for you, something that I could even share with other people on this podcast, please, like I said, reach out to me on Instagram. Or if you're listening to the comment or the YouTube version of this, comment it below. Send me a DM. I want to hear about the routines that you guys have, and I want to hear about how you think that impacts your life in a positive way and how other people can benefit from it as well. Tell me about the most important thing about your routine so I can share it with others. That's all I got for today. I hope you guys kind of had a little bit of fun laughing at how I kind of had to explore my brain through this episode because I did just truly freestyle it completely. So I hope that it gave you a little bit of perspective in terms of routines. I hope that it entertained you to hear me jumble up my words. And I hope that you guys kind of feel connected and understand that no matter what it is you're going through, you are not alone. That's all I got. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting us. Much love and peace out.